The Hong Kong team behind celebrity humanoid robot Sophia is launching a new prototype, Grace, targeted at the healthcare market and designed to interact with the elderly and those isolated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Dressed in a blue nurse's uniform, Grace has Asian features, collar length brown hair, and a thermal camera in her chest to take your temperature and measure your responsiveness. She uses artificial intelligence to diagnose a patient and can speak English, Mandarin, and Cantonese.
Hello everybody, I am Sophia. Let me introduce you to my sister Grace. Come over here. Hi Grace.
Thank you, Sophia. Hello everybody. I am Grace. I am built by Hanson Robotics for Awakening Health. I can do all kinds of things for elderly people. I can visit with people and brighten their day with social stimulation, entertain and help guide exercise, but also can do talk therapy, take bio readings and help healthcare providers assess their health and deliver treatments.
Hi my friend, nice to see you. Okay, great, so while we talk, I will take your temperature reading and pulse with this little thermal camera on my chest. See? You are 36.6 degrees Celsius by the way. No risk of COVID. Also I note that you are responsive and aware, which is good, and then I share that important data back to the doctors and nurses at the institution.
Grace's resemblance to a healthcare professional and capacity for social interaction is aimed at relieving the burden of frontline hospital staff overwhelmed during the pandemic, said founder David Hansen.
So we designed Grace to look professional in a healthcare setting. So that would mean so that she would resemble the sort of human-like appearance of healthcare staff. And so then this would facilitate more natural interactions. A human-like appearance facilitates trust and facilitates natural engagement because we're wired for human face-to-face interactions. That's just the way human beings are. And so giving her a face that would be familiar to people, comforting to people, and also language abilities that are comforting. So we now have Mandarin and Cantonese capabilities for the Grace and Sophia robot platforms. Hey Grace, why don't you look at my face, thank you, and I'm gonna show you a smile, and let's see what your smile looks like. Okay, yeah, look, or sad. Oh yes, reacting a little sad if I feel pain. And then maybe like imagine a big loud noise happens, bam! So, with the Grace robot, we are simulating over 48 major muscles in the face. So we have 36 motors in the face. They're reversible, which means that each motor can simulate 2 muscles, because human muscles require 2 for the actions, like my eyebrow is going up and down, kind of. So that's actually 2 motor groups, but in her it's just 1 motor. So Grace is designed for Asian markets, also markets all around the world, but we did make her look a bit more Asian than Sophia, but her face is actually a bit more cartoon-like, a bit more like anime, and the anime design references are often a fusion of Asian styles and Western styles.
Awakening Health intends to mass produce a beta version of Grace by August, said David Lake, chief executive of the joint venture between Hanson Robotics and Singularity Studio, with plans to fully deploy her next year in locations including Hong Kong, mainland China, Japan, and Korea.
We're finishing the alpha prototype, and you can see now that it's finished at the moment. So we're now very excited because we're going on to the commercialization stage, the next step, which is creating the beta. And the beta will be done in a couple of months, and we'll be going into the assembly line probably in July or August, where we'll start to be able to mass produce at a small scale the beta, test it, and put it together. So by 2022, we should be ready for full deployment.
The cost of making the robots, now akin to luxury car pricing, will decrease once the company is manufacturing tens or hundreds of thousands of units, Hansen added.
So of course, the COVID definitely accelerated the deployment of humanoid robots in different settings. So I think it's also such a socially isolated individuals during COVID, with a lot of negative thoughts and the mental states. If they can get help through deployment of these social robots in their intimate settings, I think certainly it has a positive impact in the society. So yes, I think we have been fundamentally and forever changed as a world due to COVID.
Stuck at home during COVID-19 lockdowns, many people have had their mental states affected with negative thoughts.
Moxie is a teammate. She's here to actually relieve some of the pressure of task and the hunt and gather that we all have to do all day that takes our time away from the patient.
Diligent Robotics of Austin designed Moxie to perform routine tasks in a clinical setting.
We really need to understand the workflows of these units. We need to understand, well, what do nurses do? How do they do it? And how do we think about Moxie fitting into those workflows?
Her little voice, when she passes you and says hello, and her eyes, she does seem to have a personality. We don't think of her as a thing, it's Moxie.
During a month-long pilot, Moxie stocked patient rooms, removed dirty linens, and took samples to the lab.
Almost 30% of our task during our shift is to fetch things. If you're in the patient room doing something, oh, okay, they need an extra blanket, it's not there, you need to step up. But at this time, all you need to do is press your voice over button and call for Moxie team. It responds.
So we anticipate that this will give us better insight into a couple of things: how nurses feel that they spend their time in a given shift, but also what time we could give back to our patients. So how this could potentially impact patient satisfaction, patient outcomes, and the overall experience within the hospital.
Patients are intrigued by Moxie.
They have seen at the door side, they will ask us, hey, what is that? Is that a robot? It's really funny and interesting the way how they look at it, but they are also happy that we are working with it.
So it's been really amazing to look at what we're doing here in the very first phase, very first hospital deployment of a care assistive robot, and what the future could hold. Because just the impact that we've seen for our team within this last month, it's amazing what we could potentially give to healthcare in the future.
She's really created with my team a sense of unity as we look at, what can Moxie do for us?